You're listening to the Business and Life Podcast, where 7 days a week, proven entrepreneurs share their success stories, failures, and give you true value on how you can build a great business and an awesome life. With your host, Mike Olivas.
Hey guys, I'm usually coming in hot, but today I think I need to come in real. My 13-year-old national group travel company was pretty much close to shutting down. I've somehow turned a negative into a positive, but it took about a week straight worth of strategy since all this has gone down. My team and I put together an 11 series best of episode, which I call Coping with COVID in Business and Life. Business owners and employees are going through dire times right now. They're losing their jobs and shutting down their business. I know it firsthand because I recently had to let go of the majority of my employees. A 13-year-old company broken down in a matter of days. I'll rebuild it and I'll make it better and I'll make it stronger. And I want to make all of you just as optimistic as I am. So in a world of nothing but negative news and drama right now, and being forced to do nothing but take in all of this terrible content on the news, my team and I focused all of our attention to bring you the stories of how others have overcome rock bottom, to show you that with great obstacles and challenges come great opportunities. This special series is the collection of the answers of my guest of one of the most powerful questions that I ask day in and day out, 7 days per week on my show. That question is simple. Give me a time where you've hit rock bottom and were able to overcome that disaster. Listen to these stories. Realize that it's a part of the journey and understand that you are not alone. And rolling up your sleeves is nothing new to you. Listen, learn, and get to work. You got this, Life Nation. Now go get it done.
When I first launched a Canela, it actually was not a Canela Expeditions. Canela is Latin for cinnamon. We were selling spices. So my first concept for business was actually, hey, let's bring the travel experience to people through these, co-curated spice blends that I would, work on with men and women from around the world, sell them to them in this beautiful display. And that's perfect. That's what people want. And I did that for probably like a solid year, while I was finishing up my studies and traveling. And I thought it was this great idea. And I think I had started other things before, but that was the first time I had really, I would say, high hopes and actually put a lot of time and effort and, dollars into something. And frankly, it failed. I mean, it just, the product wasn't shippable. My family liked it, a few friends, but it wasn't scalable. And I had obviously a lot of criticism, a lot of things that I still get now, but it was a really important lesson for me to learn that it's okay to go through, you almost need to go through that experience of doing something that honestly people think you're crazy for doing it. And that's what people thought. Now they look back and see the spice boards and they're like, that's cool. That's the history behind a Canela. But it was, it wasn't until actually I sat down with some good friends and they were like, Kylie, this is awesome that you're passionate about this, but your passion and what you're really good at is identifying these experiences. Why aren't you actually taking people there? And it sounds like an easy transition, but it was hard for me because I was giving up something in my mind. It felt like I was giving up something that I had done for, a solid year. And I was really passionate, put a lot of, blood and tears into it. And, but it was great. I mean, I let that go on the side and we did our first trip and it spiraled into doing thousands of trips now. So it was a good failure.
Entrepreneurs are always either on the mountaintop or in the middle of the valley. Very much like a salesperson. They're either getting yes or no. There's usually nothing really in the middle there. And so that's really one of the things that I've learned over the years. And I would say probably one of the most exciting times also turned out to be one of the most difficult times. And that was really when one of the first, what I would call real startup, it was the dorm room startup. It was software. The first real startup I did, we started getting a lot of momentum. We were getting customers. We were turning a profit. We had bootstrapped the whole thing and we're making money. Every entrepreneur's dream. And we had several companies come and approach us that wanted to buy us. And that's the second part of the dream. So either you're making money or hopefully selling and exiting and making money that way. And we were about to do both. So we went through over 6 to 8 months of due diligence with this really large company. It was the perfect fit. They were so excited. We were so excited. We went to what we thought was the signing table, and there's a different lineup of people on the other side of the table. And we said, oh, you must be the lawyers and the accountants, and one of you must have the notary stamp. And come to find out, they had aligned their whole executive team. They had received about $100 million investment themselves And so the people we've been talking with for over half a year were no longer around that table, and they were not interested. And so what I learned there, that was rough, but I think what I learned was what happened afterwards. And that was the fact that we had built the company to sell it and not for the customers. And the customers had already been paying us, and we were already profiting off the customers. But when we were really in this acquisition process and this due diligence phase, instead of focusing on keeping our customers satisfaction very high, we focused on selling the company. And so by just a couple months after that deal didn't happen the way we had hoped, we started losing a lot of customers because we hadn't been there for them. And I think that's really at the core of one of the biggest rock bottoms was not necessarily the letdown of the acquisition, which was painful, but it was really the fact that we had a good company and we almost exited it. We didn't at that point in time, and we came out making the good company fall apart. It's like the book Jim Collins, How the Mighty Fall. Yeah, and you're at the peak of your game, and then all of a sudden you start to get cocky and you lose focus on what's most important. The example in there that I love is Rubbermaid. They didn't feel like they were having enough innovations, so they required each team to produce one new product every single day. So at the end of the year, they have over 365 new products per team. Well, they spread themselves too thin, lost what their core value was, and obviously that capitulated them down into an area of less success than they had. So we experienced the same thing.
Hey guys, Michael Levis here. I've cut my coaching rates nearly in half, and I've added some time to my daily calendar to help you, our listeners, with your business in this time of need. If you were let go, or if you finally feel like in the midst of all this, you've been motivated to finally start your own company, let's talk about my affordable startup advising package that will give you from idea to revenues fast. If you are trying to simply keep your company alive after this terrible epidemic, I will give you some great valuable tactics on how I did it, on how to not just let employees go or shut down shop. Let me help you keep your businesses alive and thriving. I can't help everyone, but you won't know if I can help you or not until you schedule a quick 20-minute call at michaellevis.com/coaching.
I got pregnant about 6 months after I officially filed my LLC paperwork. So I had a baby business. We had downsized everything. We sold a car. We had invested in like the new website and all this stuff. And then I discovered I was pregnant. It was we were not planning this. And then I discovered I was pregnant with twins. And there was a period about 6 months after the twins were born where my husband also lost his job at the same time. His contract wasn't renewed. And we were in this totally like, oh shit, what are we going to do? I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine.
Anyway, so I was like, what are we going to do? And I ended up reaching out to my parents and I was like, we can't sign another lease here with my business being this new and this uncertain right now and my husband not having a contract. So we ended up moving in with my parents for about 6 months. And for a long time, this was 10 years ago now, for a long time, I was really embarrassed to admit that. But one, I'm just really grateful I had that safety net. My husband got his contract back like a month after we moved in with our parents. But what it did really allow me to do, there's always like a blessing in disguise. So what that really allowed us to do was because we had the pressure taken off of my business having to pay for stuff for the family, and I had a support system with childcare, I was able to really think about how was I going to ramp up my business. And by the time we did move back out and got into a house of our own, I was able to invest in my first mastermind. I was able to get coaching. I was able to learn how to take my business from more of a traditional in-person consulting model to an online training and consulting model, which honestly has been how I've been able to grow this business since then while working from home with all of my kids.
Early stages of my business, my family filed bankruptcy. So, that was pretty shit-tastic. Yeah. But something that I had to really learn this year was if I wanted to have a different outcome in my business, if I wanted to raise the bar and break through the ceiling that I keep hitting, I needed to change something within. And when I started looking at things, I realized that part of why we were not getting financially where I know that we can be and where we should be is because I don't know enough. I don't know enough about finances. I don't know enough about numbers. I'm a creative. It's the opposite part of my brain. It really takes purpose and intention for me to sit down and like reconcile my bank account, for instance. Yeah. So, you know, we started going down a really slippery slope where I was being faced with, you know, I'm literally at a fork in the road. I either have to change everything, or I need to say, you know what, it's been a good run. I need to just shut it down because I can't come back from this. And I'm a resilient mofo and I don't go down without a fight. And more importantly, I know in my soul what we are capable of. And that's brighter than the challenge. So honestly, this year I was faced with potentially closing my business. And that's a hard pill to swallow.
In 2017, we felt like we've reached the top of the mountain, right? Things were awesome. This is how awesome it is.
Yeah.
We take 2-3 hour breaks in the company to play basketball.
Hell yeah.
And keep in mind, we only work Monday through Thursday. So my entire company shuts down on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because a lot of the people in my company do volunteer work. So we literally just work Monday through Thursday, and we take 2-3 hour lunches playing basketball. And if my team loses, we're going to play again until we win. that's just how it works. So everything was going super well. And it gets to the point where, hey, where do we want to go? Hey, how much, you know what? Let me just give him X amount of bonus. Let me give this guy X amount of bonus. It was crazy. But my mistake was I relied on this one particular stream of income that was really well within the company. This one client that was really, really big, and we've created a very good partnership. Well, that client went away. The company shut down. So now I had neglected the other streams of income, some of the other mediocre, even larger customers that I didn't really service throughout the past couple of years prior to that, because I was focusing on this one client. That took a toll. It was really, really difficult, starting in beginning 2018 all the way till end of 2018. It was really, really hard because I have all these people that I hired as they were my friends. I wasn't going to let them go. We weren't taking paychecks. We were just living off of savings, and we had to put money into the company from our savings. And it was tough. It was tough. But Mike, I have a motto in business. My goal is to make you more money so I can take more of your money. Yep. So with that motto, throughout the years, even prior to that, I've made a lot of people a lot of money. Yeah. So when I knew I needed favor, and I'm not too prideful to ask for help. So I made some calls and I said, look, man, I know you don't need this. Look, man, I know you don't want this product, but I need the money. I'm not asking for a loan. I'm not asking for money. By the way, we never took a loan even then. So I called these customers and I asked, could you please help me out? Buy this, buy that. Let me give you this if you can give me that. It got us to survive. I mean, it got us to where we are, where we got back on our feet and were able to climb back up. And, you know, looking back, it was a bad decision on my end, but, you know, nobody really taught you that. Nobody really, I mean, people say don't put all your eggs in one basket. But when you're faced in an opportunity and you got to focus and put all your resources, your employees, your time, your energy, your everything into it, and it's working great, you don't view it as I'm putting all my eggs in one basket. You're just dedicating everything to it. Yeah. But that was my mistake, and I'll never make that mistake again.
Life Nation, you got to remember that in order for things to change, you must change. And in order for things to get better, you must get better. You just got better by hanging out with me, Michael Libas, and the Business and Life Nation. So come back tomorrow because I'm here dropping sound bombs 7 days a week, baby. If you'd like to subscribe, please do, so you can take action and execute. See you tomorrow.